Hi everyone, welcome to today's edition of the Moledao workshop for our hackathon. Joining us today is Chirag from Biconomy. Biconomy is a service that basically provides plug and play APIs to simplify your Web3 development experience. Chirag is a platform engineer at Biconomy, and today he's going to take us through how Biconomy can help you simplify the development of your dApps. So without further ado, Chirag, please begin.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Alvin and Felicia, for having me. My name is Chirag. I work as a platform engineer and a blockchain researcher at Biconomy. Today, we are going to talk about Web3 and usability and interoperability in general about the blockchains, followed by a workshop on Biconomy's products. I'll just start right away. Share my screen. Perfect. So just want to begin by some stats of Ethereum and current DeFi, like compared like how much value is locked and what is the this space about like the number of transactions or as like more and more wallets are increasing, but very few wallets are still active, and there are still some pain points that users face when interacting with these dApps like on different blockchains. And another problem is like there are so many siloed blockchains created, and the end user is going to various dApps, and they face some challenges by paying the gas fees on all of these dApps, and also like when it comes to like moving the liquidity. So this is where you need to like address about like the usability and interoperability challenges. After 2017, like scalability has been a challenge, but it has been like improved a lot by different layer 2s and rollups. And some of these challenges still remain in the usability space. So for one simplest example could be like each transaction or each interaction on a dApp is you need to pay for the gas fees, and that would be like in the native currency, so you need to acquire these currencies depending on the chain. So it could be like ETH, BNB, Mover if it's on Moon River. And as a user, I need to, if it is MetaMask or any other wallet, I need to manage, what is the optimum gas price that I need to send my transaction with. And then the transaction times are variable because the gas prices are very dynamic. Also, you get like a lot of pending and stuck transactions. And, as a newcomer or even for a crypto savvy user, it's difficult to, like resubmit the transactions and bump up the gas price and all those complexities that come with it. One more challenge is, like I said, moving liquidity from like one chain to another, because you also want to interact with those dApps there, and always like changing the RPCs. So these have been like some problems, even and back in 2017 or 18. You need to remember your Ethereum addresses if I need to like share it with someone. And also like there only used to be like efficient or UX friendly browser wallets. So those things have improved quite a lot, like in terms of mobile wallets and having like secure interactions from your phones, or like ENS names which you can share it with someone. And then there are like other challenges which just still being like addressed or needs like have a scope of improvement. So this is like what I present. Basically it shows like with every interaction you need to like stop and pay for the gas fee. So there is like a lot of friction point when you are interacting with a particular dApp in Web3. And if you compare it with the traditional Web2 space, so there are like so many different infrastructure projects or layers which and if you like correlate that with Web3, so that is the need for the usability, where like instead of one simple example, right, like if I'm like streaming video on Netflix, and with like every interaction or changing to play something else, if I need to like stop and pay for the fees or any friction, so that brings like a lot of pain points for the user. So instead of that, like there's a demand for like some infrastructure layer which can make the user journey easier. It can be like in terms of transaction management system which dapps can use, because like not all the dapps can always have like this customer support for blockchain, and like having to answer the users about the transactions. So that comes or narrows down to the user onboarding, or like what is the cost that you're spending for user onboarding. Some can like actually sponsor the transactions on users behalf. So I'll shortly come to that, like what are the like goals, or what are the improvements that dapps can do using like several infrastructure projects like Biconomy. And yeah, I mean, some of these things already covered, like for example the addresses. And one of the products at Biconomy is gasless, or in general, like I just want to talk about like how you make these challenges easier for the users. So meta transaction is one. uh, Basically that's a concept of account abstraction. This is, yeah, sorry about that. So with this, basically, as an end user, you don't have to, instead of paying for the gas fees, you would actually be signing a transaction. And the person who actually pays for the gas fees is different than the user who needs to, make some state changes on the blockchain. So this is where the meta transaction come in, and they come in like very handy for like, solving these challenges in terms of like doing the transaction management. And also it should be like motivated or push forward to build out like some SDK and the API solutions for all of these interactions. It could be like fiat to on ramp, or managing the transactions for the users. And also like the APIs or SDKs that the developers can use, who are like newly coming into the space, to, let's say, mint NFTs or deploy an NFT contracts. So all of these make it easier as the whole space, right? And then like definitely, yeah, there are some other ways to pay for the gas. So imagine a user only having USDC, or another example could be like, as my employer could give me let's say USDT as some payment, or you work for someone who is giving you these tokens. But in order to, let's say, send these tokens to somewhere, or even like if I want to just swap USDT for ETH, then I need to first go on do an exchange, do the KYC, acquire some ETH, send it to my wallet, and then I only to pay for the gas fees, right? So then I spent that little bit of ETH to move USDT to somewhere else. Instead of that, like there could be simpler solutions where you can actually pay the gas fees as well in the USDT. And also another great use cases can be like moving that USDT to some other chain, and swapping it for another tokens for like cheaper gas fees, for example on L2s. So yeah, this is where the Biconomy comes in. Biconomy is a transaction infrastructure for Web3 applications. So it offers APIs and SDK, like all of these plug and play solutions for dApps to integrate to improve the user experience for their end users. So it gives several features, and there are few products like gasless and Hyphen, which I'm going to shortly talk about more. And so the core is the relayer infrastructure, which like does handle all of these complexities. So for example, like in terms of features, you get gasless transactions. And what relayer infrastructure actually does is like as a user, like I said, you just sign the message and your transaction is taken care of, right? And someone else as a relayer pays for the gas fees, and dApps could be sponsoring those gas fees. So in this, if you are a developer and if you're integrating, you just need to like import the SDK and make huge lines of changes in your code, and do some artifacts registration on the dashboard. So I'll just come to the steps of where how actually someone can integrate Biconomy. And yeah, these are the features which I just talked about. Like you basically internally it is managed that, if your transaction gets stuck, how do you bump up the transaction? What is the optimized bump up gas price, like the new gas price to send the transaction with, and avoiding like stuck or pending transactions or even the failed transactions, because you can actually determine if this transaction was going to fail, then you won't send it to the blockchain, right? And yeah, I can now talk more in detail about like how does the meta transaction or the gasless transactions work. So basically, like I said, it's a concept of account abstraction, and there is so for example, this is your recipient contract, and there could be some methods which are directly using message.sender to identify the user who, or the EOA address that initiated the transaction. So firstly, you add the meta transaction support in your smart contract, which is basically using a helper like underscore MSC sender. So you replace that with that particular helper, which can actually differentiate whether this transaction is coming from a user or is it coming from a relayer with the user's data appended and the user's signature is there. So as I earlier said, users assigns the message, so you need to have a way to verify those signature, right? So for that, it can be in the recipient contract, or you can have like another layer of contract which comes in the picture, which is called like a trusted forwarder, which will basically verify the user signature, and it will also like update or check the nonces for the replay protection of that same signature. So this is how the flow looks like on the architecture level. Like the user signs a message, and then relayer knows that, okay, this is the user signature and I need to pay for this transaction. And then these verification happens in the contract, which is actually meta transaction capable. And this is how your transaction gets relayed. So I'll quickly like show this in terms of demo as well. And these are the steps, like if you need to add gasless with Biconomy on any of the supported chains. So it's a multi-chain relayer infrastructure, and we support like various chains, different layer 2s, and you can also like play around with this on testnets. So this is how like the steps look like the first step I mentioned, that you need to actually update your smart contract to make it meta transaction compliant. And for this, I basically would need to use some base contracts. So I have this, just a moment. So here, for example, I have this a very simple contract, which just updates like which has like two state variables, and it's like setting a code. So I actually have a tab for this for the demo. So once I like we go through like all of these steps, then we can actually see the demo as well on different test networks or maybe Polygon. So this is how like you import this a particular base contract, which looks like which has like all the signature verification happens here. Right, so you basically just call this method, and then this contract calls itself. And here, if you notice, I have replaced the message.sender with this particular helper. So this is all the change that you require in your smart contract. And then there's another approach which uses the trusted forwarder way. So in that case, only the base contract changes. You can use base relay recipient, or you can use ERC2771 context by OpenZeppelin, and it has like the layer of this trusted forwarder. So this is like more standardized way, and it actually requires you to do a very small amount of changes in your code, and all of this can be found in the Biconomy docs. So for like a different particular implementation that you're going with, you can actually see like what are the steps to be followed. So this is the same steps that which I have covered in the slides. So once I have done, so this is the first step. Once I have done this changes, once I have deployed my contract, I would go back and so then I would I just need to register my contract on the Biconomy's dashboard. So you just register and like choose a chain which where you need to register your dApp on. And then once you have your dApp, you get your API key to actually use the Biconomy's API and SDK solution to relay your transactions. And here I would be registering the smart contract. And then there are different approaches. So what is a custom approach? Custom approach is basically what we saw here, using this base contract as EIP 712 meta transaction. And the idea here is, in case of custom approach, actually the relayer, so it would look like this. Basically, the transaction would be initiated from a relayer and it will go to your contract, recipient contract, which has like EIP 712 features for this. And another approach we call is EIP 2771 approach, where actually you have the relayer, which, forwards, like sends a transaction to the trusted forwarder contract. And then which, so this contract in this case does all the signature verification, and it forwards a transaction to the recipient contract. So these are like the two different approaches, and you can use any of them. So once I've done this part, another step is to register the method. So once I've registered my contract, as you can see, on my dashboard, I have several tabs. They are on different main nets, test networks. So for a particular tab, I can actually so for example, I have this Arbitrum tab. I have registered this contract as a custom approach, and I can go to manage APIs. So basically this makes your smart contract method into an API call, which you can register on the dashboard, so that, the SDK knows that where you need to relay the transactions for this user. And that's it. So this is the second step, and all of these are one-time steps. You deploy your contract, you register the artifacts, and then there are some client-side changes. So I'll actually show that with a demo for the same contract which we just saw here. So I have this playground. So it's a very simple implementation of this, which is using a very simple contract like this. And it is anyone can come and set the code. You can pretty much write anything, maybe let's say some song lyrics or some arbitrary messages, and you become the owner of that code. So it is capture a flag kind of thing. And in this case, you actually don't need to have any ether, or if you're on Polygon, you don't need to have any Matic to interact with this app. So let me just show here. Cool. I'll open the dev tools as well, so we can actually see the transaction. So this is currently running on Kovan. So I have created a Kovan contract. I have the API key from Biconomy, and in order to relay my transactions, I just create a Biconomy provider using the Mexa SDK, which is available as in NPM, and you just use that and use the API key which you got from the dashboard here. And once you have done that, you can actually wrap your regular provider into a Biconomy provider. So what it does under the hood is it just identifies which RPC call you are trying to make, and then based on that, if you have registered through on the dashboard, if it finds that method, then it understands it as meta transaction to be relayed, and then it sends to the relayer infrastructure, which manages all of your transaction complexities, right? So these are all the changes I've done. And then once I want to if let's just set some code here. So I'm on the Kovan network. I can actually switch to another account, which does not have any ETH. And it doesn't actually matter which chain I'm on, because it is all you can provide the network agnostic experience. So only your backend needs to know that you are interacting on Kovan. For the end user, they could be just coming from another app on Moonriver, and they can straight away start interacting gasless transactions on Polygon. So let me just write something. So here, instead of MetaMask window popping up to set the gas fees and everything and asking for the gas, user just needs a signature, and you can actually customize this message as well for the end user, like what am I signing, which contract I'm interacting with. So both is supported like in the trusted forwarder approach and in the custom approach as well. So once I sign the signature as a user, my job is done. And if you notice, it just makes the API call to the Biconomy's relay infra. And as a developer for that particular user, you just get this response like the meta transaction has been signed to the blockchain. So this is a gasless transaction, and it actually updated the code here, right? So I can see the state changes, and actually Kovan takes a bit of a time to the indexing the transactions, but if you see on the blockchain explorer, the from address or the person who sent the transaction, it won't be your address, it will be the Biconomy's relayer, but you were still able to make a transaction without any paying any gas. So this can cater like a lot of use cases where, let's say, you want to give a gasless experience to only newcomers or some users who have like some activity on the protocol, right? There can be like these customized use cases, or let's say if you're building a launch pad where like a lot of activity is going to happen in very few minutes. So in this case as well, you can use transaction management system like Biconomy, and the use cases are plenty more. So you're open to discuss and to Discord and Telegram, and the team will be there to help you out. So this was a simple demo of setting like sending a gasless transaction on Kovan. We can actually follow the same process for the trusted forwarder way, where let's say I want to start with another contract, and let's say we switch to Polygon mainnet, and we'll deploy this contract. So let's use the EIP 2771 approach this time. So compile the contract, and here you need to actually specify like which trusted forwarder you want to use. So the contract addresses are available in the Biconomy dashboard, and I could go to Matic mainnet. I will pick up this trusted forwarder, and I can set it here, deploying. Meanwhile, I can come here and I can create a Polygon dApp. So here are like different chains available where you want to like register your artifacts and provide the gasless transactions. So oh sorry, I created it for Moon River mainnet. I can actually search on another account. So this tab is created. You can also see the gas tank feature. So this is basically to sponsor your transactions for the end user. We initially give you some free credits to like relay your transactions, and then like based on the activity, once you're ready to go on mainnet, you can actually the deposit the gas which you are going to sponsor for your end users. So the contract should have been deployed here. I'll just set like initial code. So this is done. I can just copy this contract here, give it any name. I need to paste the ABI of the smart contract. And plus register is as a trusted forwarder approach. Once I've done this, I can actually tell that, okay, which method I want to make gasless. So I can pick up the method it gets from the ABI which you have provided, and I can just give it any name. So here my API is also registered. Now, we are ready in terms of dashboard registrations. Now I can actually go back to a code, and this is the EIP 277 approach. So I'll just replace the contract address, and I can get my API key from here. And let's actually replace to Polygon mainnet. Actually, let me just click. Yep. So now if I come back to my dApp, here it will just initialize the SDK. Let's go to this approach. Yeah, so you can actually see the code here. Now I can just give it any, and now we will be doing the transaction on Polygon mainnet. And this is the trusted forwarder approach. So here you're signing the message, which is different, and it's like the whole request type. And you can actually see like how much gas this transaction will consume, and the data you're sending, what is your address. And once I send out this transaction, the response is the same, which you can process and show it to your end user that, okay, this transaction is done. So if I go ahead and copy this, let's see it on Polygon scan. So the transaction is done, and the code is updated here. And once it is indexed, you can actually see that the from address would be the relayer's address, and it goes to trusted forwarder, like I showed here, and then internally it like forwards your transaction to the recipient. So this was the demo bit. Let's come back to let's come back here and talk a bit more about the interoperability. So there's another product called Hyphen, which basically allows you to move liquidity between different layer twos and layer ones, or between different layer twos. So for example, it supports Ethereum to Polygon, or Polygon to Avalanche, Ethereum to Avalanche, and it is the most gas efficient and cheaper bridge out there, like compared to the native bridge, where users need to wait for a long time to like actually move your tokens, and also they end up paying like high gas fees. So that's also you can actually interact with Hyphen, and it looks like where you just need to pick up a chain, and then you can like move the supported tokens. And here are some use cases for the platforms who have used Biconomy, and how it has improved their UX in terms of number of transactions, or number of unique wallets, or the increased activity on their protocol in terms of amount of deposits. So, and yeah, for resources, you can actually reach out to the Discord, Telegram, if you're building something. Just let us know, and you can actually explore the Biconomy talks and the dashboard, and start building. So yeah, that's all from my side. Maybe we can pick up some questions now.
Chirag. So there are a few questions on YouTube. The first question, I don't know if this is relevant, but he asked, Major BTC asked, when will they start MEXA? Is this something that you know about? MEXA, MEXA?
Yeah, so Mexa is called our product. So basically, if you go to the Biconomy's GitHub, you can see Mexa. So that's like a repo for the smart contract, and Mexa SDK is what we call the Biconomy's SDK. So yeah, this is the name of the gasless product, and you can find the relevant repositories and what is the SDK called. So that's it, if I get the question correctly.
Okay, I see. Yeah, then the more the world sites link. So we'll share that in our Discord later. Yeah, you can click the link and join. Then can you share how I can make my dApp gasless?
Yeah, so I think I showed the whole demo, so the question would have been few minutes.
Yeah. Then some other questions from Discord. Since there is a gasless transaction in Biconomy, how do you earn revenues? How does it sustain the economy?
Got it. So in the case of gasless transactions, we do not charge any premium. So whatever gas fees relayed for your dApp, you can actually deposit that into the gas tank, and which gets to basically to sponsor the transactions on behalf of the end users. Besides that, we have a monthly subscription fee to create an account and interact with the mainnet dApps using Biconomy. And in case of Hyphen, we do not charge like any fees except the liquidity provider fees, which are like the liquidity pools reside on individual chain.
I see. So it's this monthly payment. They will pay at one batch, and then that will it's a month, something like monthly subscription.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So what happens to my transaction when your platform is relaying it? How safe is it from a user's perspective?
Sure. So the transactions that get relayed from Biconomy, they are non-custodial in nature. So there is there is no involvement of funds moving or getting locked into the smart contract, and it's actually just the base contract which are verified or given out or publicly used by even the tokens like USDC and DAI. So these are like only changes which you are making to enable signature verification in your smart contract.
Okay. Next question. One of the unique features of Biconomy is Hyphen. What is this feature about?
So yeah, Hyphen is a cross-chain bridge which allows end users to move their funds in different tokens supported from like one chain to another. And yeah, I just talked a bit more about that at the end of the slides.
Okay, then there are so many cross-chain bridges. Why should we use yours? And can Bico holders take part in the governance system?
Yeah, for sure. So in terms of using the Hyphen bridge, you can actually see the stats of Hyphen compared to other bridges in terms of fees or in terms of speed. So it is giving you like very few seconds, like you can port your tokens from one chain to another, and with paying like very few fees on the gas side or also on the liquidity provider side. And yes, Bico holders can be part of the governance system. So we are making the governance platform live, where you can actually vote, and based on your Bico balance, we are taking the snapshots, and then you can like vote on the changes or the proposals.
Okay, I see. So I think that's all the questions out there. Then yeah, okay, wait, there's a new question come in. So yeah, the recording will be available. A few questions that came in. Can we know when the settlement chain will become available?
Yeah, so that's planned, like testnet is planned sometime early next quarter.
Okay. So yeah, next quarter, Abbas. So take note if you're listening. Hello, can I transfer USDC ERC20 to USDC Matic with a minimum commission via Biconomy?
Yes, that's what Hyphen is for.
Okay, yeah. So, Diet Simple, Asi, please take note if you are listening. Major BTC again. You said you were planning to stake Bico. When will this happen?
So currently Bico staking is live and you can earn APY on Bico. And for any other questions, you can just like reach out to Discord regarding like when the network comes alive, and then there will be like more options available for staking.
All right, so I think that's all the questions for today. Thanks a lot for your time, Chirag. So we will post the slides and the recording in Discord. So we'll share that with the Biconomy Discord as well as Moledao Discord. So please join. The link is in the YouTube description. So yeah, thanks a lot, Chirag, for your time today. It's about 30 minutes long, but you cover a lot of ground. And I think it's a very interesting use case for how people can apply Biconomy. So yeah, that's all for today. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, and thank you everyone from joining from Moldau community.
Thanks to the audience as well. Thanks to all you for joining. So I hope you find it interesting, and please join the Discord. So that's it for today. Good night or good morning, wherever you are.
All right, bye guys, take care.
All right, bye.